Be strong.
Want me to say my name?
Yes, just your name would have been great. All right, welcome to hold on. Take two. Welcome to Fit Beauties Talk. I am Sonia Lewis, and my co-host is
K Fit Barbie
and Bree Wiggly.
And today we have our guest of
Meechka Marcelin.
All right, yay! We're happy to have you today. Welcome. All right, can everybody hear me on here? Sound check.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so Meechka, you are a new pro.
Yes. Yes. As of
Right,
November.
Yeah, you can tell us where you went pro, what year, how long you've been competing, just a little background about you, and we can get it started.
Okay, so I went pro November of last year, 2019, at Miami Nationals, and I have been competing for about 4.5 years.
That is awesome. Congrats again.
Yes.
Thank
Go
you.
back to that and be outside again, but you know, the world we live in.
Right.
Yes, I'm happy it happened in November.
Right? Because weren't you thinking about doing the Arnold or something?
I was. So it worked out. It worked out well.
All right, so we're just going to run through some quick questions so the people can get to know you a little bit. Bree is usually the one that starts off these questions.
Yes. Okay. So the question is, I know you turned pro in November, and of course with the pandemic and everything, you had to go through a improvement season, is what we call it. No, I'm just kidding. So do you have a pro debut lined up or in the near future? And if so, you can tell us. If not, it's fine.
I do have a pro debut lined up.
Okay.
In the near future.
Okay.
We're gonna see how prep goes, but I will say I plan to get on stage. It's around the same time I got on stage last year.
All right, a little bit of a secret there.
I know. Look,
competitors are so secretive.
Well, fun. That's good. So did you, throughout like your off season, can you just tell us a little bit about how that process went? Because I know a lot of people think, oh, I'm not competing anytime soon, so just let it all hang out. Like, what was that like for you as a pro?
Well, I definitely would say, after a lot of shows that I've had in the past, especially early on, that was definitely a huge challenge for me, was post-show, just trying to find a way to get back into a routine. Because during prep, you're so structured and you're so like, you have this routine and when I'm on prep, it's pretty much like very rigid. So it's like, I'm not going to go outside of anything on my program, everything is, so when you have a little bit more flexibility after being on such a rigid regimen for so long, sometimes it can be a little bit challenging. But I think the main thing is, and Sonia will probably tell you, I was freaking out a little bit after Miami. And I was like, Sonia, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. What should I just stay on my prep food and da 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 da? But no, you gotta relax. You gotta relax a little bit. You gotta kind of, your body right after is gonna be in a different state, so I did kind of let go a little bit, but I still had a goal in mind, and that was to improve in certain areas.
Yeah.
So I feel like we focused on those areas as far as, building and, so that way I could come back with a better physique for my pro debut.
Well, good. Good.
So I'd like to know, tell us what that felt like just to win your pro card. I know it wasn't something that you were expecting. It wasn't a show that you were anticipating on doing. I mean, like I said, I think you were trying to do the Arnold after that Iowa show in 2019. So just kind of tell us, what did that feel like?
It actually, it was incredible. It felt kind of surreal because, like you said, I started out and I just knew that I was going to give it my all. You know, I was going to do everything I could within my control, within my power to, you know, bring the best physique, to work on every area of the prep. And, you know, because I went to a local show first about a month before, and that went really well. And then we kind of started talking about doing Miami. Like, it was like, oh yeah, we're going to do Miami.
Yeah.
And then I feel like once I had it in my head that I was going to do it, like I knew I was going to do it, and I knew that I had to work for it. I knew kind of like what I had to do. And I mean, as far as being there, like in Miami and it happening, it was, how would I describe it? I was kind of in kind of in this zone, like the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of knew, like, okay, you've done everything you could possibly do. So you're here, have fun, you know, and just bring it your best. And I mean, it was a great experience, honestly.
Yes, it was. And you look phenomenal, and you definitely deserve that win. So you've been competing for 4 years. Of course, I know what team you're on, but would you like to talk about who you were with before? Why'd you switch teams? You don't have to go into great details, but just kind of what prompts you to make those decisions. And do you feel like, you know, obviously because you went pro, but
Well, I did start competing 4.5 years ago. And when I started, it was more to be honest with you, I really didn't know what I was getting into. It was kind of, make a really long story short, there was a trainer at my gym that is, you know, did a lot of bodybuilding, and he was like, hey, if anyone wants to compete, I'm having this promotion. He's like, you should do it. I'm like, okay. So I did it. Make a long story short, I loved it. After my first show, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Like, I really didn't even know all the details about competing. I didn't even know what pro was at this point. I just knew that, oh, okay, this is a challenge. You know, it's gonna be fun to see my body transform. And I just had fun. And then after that show, that's when I kind of started to learn a little bit more about the sport. And like, I didn't even know I was competing in NPC. Like, when I said I didn't know anything, I did not know. I just did the diet, I did the training, and I showed up, and I did some posing, a little bit of posing. But anyways, moving on, after that, that's when I kind of learned a little bit more about what it is to become a pro, and like, oh, the different levels and how far you could actually take it. So, you know, after that first show, I loved it so much, I decided, I was like, oh, I definitely want to, you know, keep going and see if I can take this thing to the next level.
Yeah.
And, you know, after a while, my second show ever, after I took a whole year off, this was a terrible idea, by the way, was it was Pittsburgh, and it was North American Championships. And that was the second show ever after like a whole year off. And I did not know what to expect.
Like a national show?
National show. Yeah. After doing one show. Terrible idea.
Yeah, girl. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course, I got swept.
It's not that terrible. It's not that terrible to do one show and go straight to nationals. It depends on how you look.
Yeah.
Yes, depending on how you look. And this is where the coaching and the guidance really come in. Mm-hmm. Because if you have someone that is very engaged in the sport and knows what's going on and knows what you need to look like, knows what presentation, suit, hair, color, body, yes, you can go. But if you don't, you're going to go like me with some blue eyeshadow. And I was not ready. So I made a switch to an online coach. That didn't work out for me. Not saying online is bad. It's not, but it just wasn't a good fit for me. It wasn't, I'm very like, you know, I feel that everyone is different. Everyone's body is different, you know, and that has to be factored in as well. Like, you want to have a coach that, yeah, I mean, so many things are the same, but you do want to have a coach that's going to tailor your program to your needs specifically. And then I went back to the first coach, and we did pretty well. But I just knew, like, okay, I need something more. Like, I need someone who is really engaged in the sport. I need someone who's going to take me to the next level. I need someone who is going to be just very, like, just involved. So that's when I made a switch to Team Pheno. Actually, it was around this time last year because it was July of 2019.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so
Happy anniversary.
happy anniversary. So I made that switch because I just, you know, I took it with a grain of salt to see kind of like, okay, what do the girls on this team look like? How are they coming into the shows? You know, where's the consistent patterns here? And I will say, yes, that's a good approach, but I also made sure to talk to the coach face to face before making any moves. So with Kay actually being local, I went there to the gym, I talked to her, asked any questions I had beforehand. And, you know, after that, I was like, I think that this is gonna work. And it did. It ended up working out well.
You're still with us. All right.
Kay has that magic touch. So you say you joined the team in July, you turned pro in November?
That's right.
That's like 5 months. Like, Kay, you the GOAT for real.
Yes, because I mean, I joined the team in like September and went pro in like March. So
Right. I've had 5 weeks with her and went pro.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like she hits everything. It's everything. It's not just, here you go, do this diet, this and that. She was like, no, you're going to be posing. You know, I posed with Tonya, actually. I think I posed with Tonya every week after the first few weeks of prep, because that was a week, kind of not a weak point, but that was something that I knew we had to really bring it to the stage. So, but yeah, I mean, 5 months, and I did really well at the first local show we did, and then we took it to Miami. So it was a great decision. I'm very, very happy about that decision.
that is awesome.
Okay.
All right, so I have a few bikini facts, right? Coach K, did you have something before I moved on to the next?
Okay. Well, what I was thinking of. Okay, so yeah, you did. I did meet you. I'm trying to think. When did I meet you? I'm trying to think of our initial conversation that we had. I'm trying. We met at the gym.
Yes. Look, Kay doesn't even remember.
I know.
I'm like, happy anniversary. Kay's like, what happened?
There's so many of us.
One thing about Meechka, Bree, Sonia, Houston, Cristal, all of you all that turned pro in that short amount of time. Leslie, y'all listened. You know what I'm saying? I was having this conversation with one of my competitors. I said, one thing you have to do is be coachable and listen. You can't have everyone in your ear. It's not like this is my first time coaching. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do everything that your coach, you know, recommends for you to do. Do it. I tell people, do it for the first 30 days to a T. You know what I'm saying? The meal plan, the workouts, the conditioning, the cardio, everything, drinking your water, do it to the T, because if you can't do it straight for 30 days, that means you're not ready to be pro because you don't have the mindset. And so once you complete them 30 days, then we can progress to the next one. Because some people are like, oh, well, where's my new meal plan? You didn't even do the first one yet, boo. So why I'm giving you another one? You didn't even execute the first one. So I think it's just all, you know, in their head. And I was having this conversation actually with one of our girls today. And she's like, well, you know, I said, well, have you been drinking? Yeah. Nah, you ain't ready then. You can't drink if you got a show in November. You know, I didn't drink for a whole almost year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't ever drink
for years.
Yeah. Luckily, I've been blessed with competitors like you all that are disciplined and determined and coachable. You feel me? And I do listen to you all's feedback. I love it, but I love as we work as a team.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I have it's not that many of us, but it's more quantity of us than, I mean, a lot of quality instead of quantity of us. Because you have a lot of teams that you have all these people on there, and it may be one person that's doing something or that looks good. And I believe I can say this, that I have the best African-American girls throughout the IFBB. point blank. I can tell that for a fact, from head to toe, being polished, poise, professionalism, and all that. And I'm grateful for all you all, and want to continue this successful IFBB and get y'all to the Olympic stage, because that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the new goal now, you know.
Right.
The new goal, exactly.
Right.
The new goal. Whenever this pandemic is over.
I know. I have a question for you. So I know you're in the midst of prep right now, and you're not telling us the date yet, even though some of us know. But
I don't even know.
How do you know?
I feel like I got a feeling. I don't know. I feel like I got a good feeling what show you do. But throughout this prep, has your mentality like changed as like from pro to amateur? Like, where's your mind at for pro? Because it's a whole different ball game. And I know it's your debut, but what are you thinking? Where is your head going into like in this prep for your debut?
That's a really great question, because I definitely will say there's definitely a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
At first, after the show, just to be completely honest with you, I did feel this pressure that I had to get on stage right away.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh my God, I just went pro. I have to hurry up. Like, I got to get on stage right away. And you know, after talking to Coach K, she kind of calmed me down a little bit and was like, no, you don't have to, you know, rush. You know, it's okay. You know, there's no need to feel that type of pressure. You need to go when you're mentally ready.
Yeah.
So for me too, because I mean, you know, life outside of prep definitely doesn't stop.
No.
So, you know, that's something that I also had to realize, was that, okay, there's been like some changes in my life. So I have to make sure that when I'm prepping, you know, how am I going to make sure that I'm still able to give it my all, but still give attention to A, B, C, D, E at the same time? Mm-hmm. So I think that the mindset going into the pro debut is, it's a little bit, I will say it's similar in that I'm not feeling like, oh, I gotta win. I mean, yes, I want to win, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm gonna bring my best, and I'm just gonna give it my all and do whatever I can that's within my control.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, and I know it's a bigger stage. I know that you know, it may take more work, or not so more work, or like to be a little bit more strategic in a few things that I'm working on, like posing, or, you know, just the way that I approach the prep altogether. But I mean, yeah, I think it's the same mindset as far as, you know, you're gonna have to work, like put your head down and work and get it done. So
yeah.
I mean, I would definitely say my mindset is different from amateur, because I mean, as an amateur, I was hungry for that pro card when that was the goal. Now it's like, maybe I'll prep, maybe I'll do a show, maybe not. I don't know. You know, it's kind of like that. But I want to ask each of you, I know you said, so I'm going to assume you went pro and a year later you're going to get on stage. That's kind of fair to say, as your pro debut. I don't know, Bree, when yours was, and I don't know, Coach K, when yours was. I know mine literally was March, and then I got on stage in May.
Yeah.
I
waited a year, Kay, because after we left,
we did, because
I was over it.
because your pro debut was the Clash.
Mm-hmm.
You placed fifth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and my pro, like I did my pro card. I was I was hungry. I wanted it. I ain't take no breaks. When I got my pro card in June, and then my first pro show was Tampa Pro. Got second call outs, placed ninth. Then I went to
July.
August. It was the end of July, or all, like, you know how it is all the time. And then I went to Iowa Pro, placed third. And then that was the following year. I think I did 2 shows because I got my pro card so late in the year. But I was like ready. I was doing shows back to back. Because I was just excited.
Ready. I was like, why am I here?
Well, because Kay, I know you kind of like instilled in us, like, just see where you kind of stack up, really.
Yeah.
Of course, we're gonna always bring our best, but you still want to get a feel for your debut, like just to kind of see what's out there. Get them to learn your face, your body, your presence, and then after that, it's like, all right, it's go time. So.
So I asked that because I feel like, just from my experience, just coming off the Arnold, I had been already prepping for so long. and going into May, which was my pro debut, it was terrible. I mean, I got sick. I couldn't get the water off. I mean, New York Pro was like, womp, womp, womp. So I tell all the new pros, I know Meechka, I tell you all the time, don't rush. You want to make your pro debut. You want to be seen. You want to be known. You want to bring your best, you know, just like you brought to the pro stage. So I now tell people don't rush, because I felt like I rushed, even though my rookie year was great. I mean, Tampa Pro was New York Pro was a really big show, but then I did a couple of more smaller shows at like Chicago and what did we do?
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans. And I came fourth and third, and it was good. It was a really good year for me, but I want you guys to be, or at least the new pros, to bring your best so they can see you, notice you, and continue to bring that same package, because I feel like consistency is what helped those judges to recognize, you know, who you are.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pros that compete like their first pro year and then second pro year, and they don't get the placement that they want, and then you won't see them within a year or two, and then they be forgotten. So I tell people, if you're going for that gold Olympia, they gotta see you. Like, they gotta see you compete. They gotta see you want it. You know, they are harder on the new pros, so they gotta see your face. They gotta see you getting better and better, and also staying consistent in your body and your overall look, and that's how you get rewarded for that ticket to Olympia.
Yeah.
Because a lot of pros that I've noticed that have taken time off, a lot more time than a year, and came back 2 years or 3 years or 4 years later, everything has changed. The look has changed, the posing has changed, the athlete physique has changed. So whatever they're bringing back in their day when they went pro, you stand out, but in a terrible way. It's not a good way at all, you know. So I think if you know you're going to get back on stage, then you should definitely keep up with the sport, keep up, see what's going on. Just stay involved if you know that's where you're going to go back, you know. That's just my little tip.
That is true.
I agree.
So how did it feel, Meechka, when you won your pro card? Like, when you go, because I can tell, like, I was there when each and every one of y'all won y'all pro card, and I'm like, my heart beating faster than, like, I'm on stage. I'm like, oh, she about to get it.
You're so
like,
calm.
was it like, okay, you was like, okay, I got it. Did I really get it? That's how it just seemed to me. Like, you was like, hold up, am I a pro? That's how it felt like. I was like, okay, yay.
No, part of me, so there's this part of me that is, I mean, I'm very like, okay, no expectations, but obviously to get there, you do have to be competitive. It's competition, okay? So I said, when I got there and I was backstage, I said, I don't care what happens today. I worked for this. The minute that my heels touch that stage, the minute, these judges will see me. Like, they will see me. I promise whatever happens, they're going to remember. Like, they're going to see me. So, yeah, I mean, the first day, because it was a 2-day show, you know, after I had gone on there, and I remember it was like 6 of us that they had called out. And I think I started like on the, like towards the right or wherever, like second to the end. And then they moved me, and then they moved me again. And I just kind of like, it was kind of surreal, because I was like, oh, wait, look. You know, I know they say like, I know that's not like, okay, if you're center, that doesn't mean you won. But I was like, I knew it. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is really happening. So then after the first day, you know, I just kind of chilled out. I was kind of, I mean, it was kind of surreal. I was kind of like, did I really turn pro? Because honestly, I just didn't know. Like, I'd done 2 national shows before. I didn't place. You know, I was like, maybe they just don't like my physique or this or that. I don't know. But I really felt like it was a little bit surreal. But it, like, deep down inside, I was like, oh, yeah, like, I know this is happening. So.
Yeah. That's awesome. Good.
So what was your first cheat meal or whatever you wanted to eat when you went pro? Like, what was your go-to?
Sushi.
Easy.
Sounds about right. I'm a sushi type of girl myself.
That's good. What advice would you tell new competitors that's going for their pro card?
Yeah.
One thing that I really will say that I kind of followed and did throughout the entire process was I kind of just had this motto, like one day at a time, one day at a time, you know, because I mean, yeah, there's definitely going to be times once you're going for that pro card that are going to be very challenging, that, you know, you may question yourself, you may question like, is this worth it, you know, but also like deep down inside, you know why you're doing it. Everyone's reason is different, you know, but kind of just let that like pull you to your goal, but also take it one day at a time. Don't think about it like, oh, gonna be on prep for this amount of weeks, this show, like am I gonna place it? No, just take it like just today. We're gonna do today. We're gonna you know, make sure we do our best, because in those moments you'll kind of, it's interesting, you learn a lot about yourself mentally. And yeah, I would just say just take it one day at a time and listen to your coach. Listen to them. If you hired a coach and you trust them, listen to what they're telling you, because they're going to give you the best guidance and the best advice to get you to that level that you want to get to. So that's my advice.
Oh, that's a good. I love that.
What's y'all advice to pros? I mean, to amateurs that's trying to become pro?
For me, it's just staying consistent, trusting the process. I mean, it's kind of the same. Trusting the process. Your coach, no one knows where you're going to go pro, when you're going to go pro. I mean, I've called it on point several times, I know. But I'm just saying, you never know when it's going to happen. So just stay consistent, trust the process, and know that if that's your goal, it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think it's also about mindset, because I mean, clearly thinking those thoughts daily, like one time, or I'm all in, like I said I was going to do it, it's going to get done. And then you'll always reap the reward for your effort that you put in. So I just say, like you said, son, like both of y'all said, I think that's what makes us pros and make us, like, you know, champions, because our mindset. So once you can master that, you're good. So yeah, mindset is important.
Don't wear that blue eyeshadow. That's probably the best.
And no blue eyeshadow ever.
No circumstances.
That might be the good one. What about you, Coach K? What is your? I mean, you've been competing way longer than all of us, so.
Yeah. It's crazy because I've been competing since 2013, but I still have people that I run into that I've been on stage with, and they still haven't got their pro card.
Wow.
So I think it's about finding the right coach that you connect with, and a knowledgeable coach. If you can't look at your coach and be inspired by them, you need a new coach.
Yeah.
If your coach has not been in your shoes, you need a new coach, because they're not gonna know how you feel.
Yeah.
To me, if I'm looking for a coach, I'm looking for a pro. I'm looking for someone that I look up to. I'm looking for someone like, okay, yeah, she keeping her body right, her team looking good, or his team looking good. Then yes, I'm very a visual person, because if you train it, you got a pop belly, no ma'am, that's like doing somebody's makeup and their makeup not cute, and then the makeup artist not cute. Right. So I'm a very visual. I'm a very visual person, and I think with new amateurs, I believe you have to find that right niche, because you may have a great coach, but sometimes you don't clash with them. And you make, so sometimes you don't mesh with them, you may clash with them. So you have to find a coach that you can be open, honest, comfortable with, because it's like, we all in your business. Yeah, we see you almost halfway naked. So you have to be
completely naked.
Yeah, you got to be comfortable and really trust your coach. So I think, and also like Bree said, it's a mindset. So once you get that mental, then you know you got it, and you can't be all over the place. I see so many people with different energies all over the place. They talking to this person, they listen to that person, and then you can tell because their body look all over the place. You have to just focus one thing at a time. So, and I know we all have seen that on Instagram, Facebook. Like, hold up, I thought she was with such and such, or this person was coaching her, or this person doing that, and he or she is all over the place, and her body looks like it's all over the place. So I think you had to find that right person to really trust and go the program. And some people ask, oh, well, how long should you keep a coach before getting a new coach?
Yeah.
So I tell people, I tell them at least give them at least a year to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
If they can't make your body look better than where you started, then bye-bye now. That's my take on it.
So 12 months. 12 months is the mark. 12 months.
And then some people don't get their, a lot of people don't get their pro cards in a year. Most people get their pro cards maybe 2 years, 3 years, just depending on how consistent they are with competing. Like Meechka, she only did one show a year, then took off a year, then went back. So depending on how consistent, you are. I was consistent for the whole time. So that's why I got my pro card pretty fast. But that was, and Bree, you did that too. You got your pro card, but your first national show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, good.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, this is the life of being a pro mentality.
Stay humble.
Yeah.
Because these shows will humble you. Just because you got overall the local show, don't mean you're gonna be top first call outs in every pro show. Because some people do pro shows, get first call out, and then the following week do a show, get last. So it is what it is. You can't take things personally. You really have to have thick skin in this sport. If you don't have thick skin, then it's not for you. If you can't take, a loss, it's not for you, because you're going to have plenty of losses before you get that win.
Yeah.
I know I'd be messed up. I'd be like, you know what? Okay, I'll just do it.
But then next day, you'd be like, all right, I'm ready to start back.
Yeah, I got stories on all y'all. I'll be like, Lord, can we go eat? Even your other coach, Jock. I'll be like, are we going to go eat?
Whatever. Forget me.
Bree was like, let's go eat. I'm like, I don't want to eat this shit.
I'm like, it's done. We done, sis. It's over. It's cool. We'll get next week.
In your feelings. You will be in your feelings.
Throw it in the trash.
Oh, yeah, throw the whole thing away.
Oh, yeah. After prejudging.
Yeah, you just, and Meechka, you'll learn that. You'll just be like, all right, whatever. We'll get them next week. Or we'll get them next month.
You guys have all given a great, you guys have all, I will say, presented yourselves very well. And you all have inspired me personally, even before I went pro. And even as a pro now, all of you inspire me very much. And great examples to look up to in the sport. So
but now you are amongst us. You are a pro as well. And we look up to you and your discipline. And there's others that's going to look up to you with your discipline and you being a pro too. So you have to set an example as well. You have to be that inspiration and motivation for others. I always feel like each one teach one. And we all look up to anyone that makes it,
Yeah, for sure. Especially with you, Meechka, I feel like you're going to be that silent killer. They be like, who is that black woman?
No, I stay really quiet.
Yeah.
Be quiet.
Tuck away, and then bam.
Yeah, but even your excitement be like, oh, I won. Did I win?
I just stay calm.
Yeah, you do fine. Well, I wish
I'm more like a fake crier on stage. I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, I did that.
Like, if she don't stop faking.
Right. Right.
Like, she don't stop faking.
I think we
that's
all
how
have
you
our
did when you won the Arnold. Sonia, that's how you did when you won the Arnold.
I really was shocked at the Arnold though, because we went into the Arnold like, oh, we're just gonna get top 10 because we were planning to do like Miami or something the rest of the year. And I mean, I did not expect that. Even when I won my class, I still didn't expect to win overall. I was like, okay, maybe I get it second, maybe second. I get my pro card. And then I won. I thought I was gonna cry for real because that stage was so big.
Oh, so they were fake tears.
No, that one was not.
She was a shock. She was a shock.
Yeah. Girl, you look like the dang on trophy. I knew you had that one. I was like, she looked like the trophy.
I don't know what I did for that show. I need to get my color back, something. But I mean, that was amazing to me just because for the people who this year that did the Arnold, for them to not have that crowd, to not have that experience of winning, it was like, I felt like that moment was kind of taken away from them, because for me, I felt like a celebrity. I had Bree and other people I didn't even know chanting my number in the crowd, like the big lights, in the auditorium with 30,000 people. It was, that's something I could never experience in my entire life. It was that amazing.
Oh, give me chills thinking about your experience.
I know, like take me back. And I think I hold on to that moment, you know. Yeah, I hold on to that moment in the days that I'm hungry, which I'm hungry now, right now, you know. So I kind of hold on to I hold on to that because I gotta get lean.
Yeah. Well, I think that was all my questions. But Meechka, I just want to wish you good luck this season, and tag team, you're it, Sonia. You're it. And I'll see y'all at the show. Okay, I'll be, you know, part of the crew with you.
We'll get you on stage sometime.
We'll get you there.
You know, sometimes you know you gotta play tag team. You gotta have somebody else jump in.
Yeah.
Someone else have a live tag team out. You know, kind of have to go like that. So I am super proud.
My vision is to do a show with all of you all. Just do one show, all of you all, and then everyone gets top 5 or top 6.
How about we do it? The Clash of the Titans.
I'm manifesting that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I think to go out with a bang. Nobody can retire until they we do all one show at a time.
I'll do it. I'll start prep next week.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So yes, Meechka, we are happy that you became a pro and you came on with us, and we are super proud of you. We just have to sign on out. And thank you for joining. This is Fit Beauty Talk. Subscribe, and we will be back with our next topic.
Bye.
Yeah, we may have Houston on here.
Yeah. Bye. Bye, y'all.
Bye.